Welcome back. This is the Balance Patch VG Challenge Top 8, and we're locked and loaded for it, baby. I'm here for it. This is what I came here for, baby. All right, I'm here joined by my homie, Jake Lintner, and we are now going to talk about this upcoming match. It's going to be between Dakota and Jay Zhang. It's going to be a fire match for sure.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we've already seen so many players who are in Top Cut already on stream today, so we're going to get some repeats. Dakota making his second appearance, trying for a little bit better result, maybe this time around than the first time. But both of these players, incredibly strong, some really strong and really cool teams.
Yes.
Dakota using the team that we've seen already.
Flamigo.
Yeah, the Flamigo, the very strong balance core.
Yeah.
Jay's team, it's scary.
It's pretty scary.
We'll get to it in a bit. But Jay Zhang, of course, an incredibly strong player, incredibly accomplished, regional champion from the 2022 season, here in Massachusetts, looking for yet another win to add to that long resume right before the Baltimore Regionals coming up next weekend. And Dakota, looking for that same practice, looking for another win on his belt too. I think we will start with Dakota's team. And, again, we've already seen it before. But I love this team, man.
I love this team.
I love this team so much.
It has Pori 2 on it. Come
2.
on, my God.
How can you not love it?
That's my boy right there.
No, that's my favorite team that I used all throughout Scarlet and Violet was last season. It was a team built by Scott Iwafuchi. It was Porygon 2, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Golden Go, Roaring Moon, and Landorus Incarnate. Dakota has taken 4 of those same 6. He said, I'll take my ground type. That's an Ursaluna. I'll take my fast Pokemon that can click flying moves from Roaring Moon. That becomes Flamigo. And that's perfect. There are no holes in this team.
No holes. This is such a solid team. I think the only hole would be like, Flamigo has some slightly lower end stats. Not like the crazy stats, but with scrappy ability and being able to use close combat and Brave Bird, some incredibly powerful stab attacks on that Pokemon. It kind of mitigates for that little, lesser attacks pool, if you would. But still, it's a fire Pokemon. It's always going to be something you can place a bet on and win. You know what I'm saying? It's a good bet.
Exactly, Neem. You can always count on your Flamigos, man.
So true.
I've always said that.
It's so true.
But it's just so strong. The balance core, the real adaptation here from Regulation F to Regulation G or H. Is the Assault Vest Terra Grass Incineroar as opposed to something like Citrus Berry or Safety Goggles, as well as the Covert Cloak Amoonguss. That is a set that I love. Especially once Trick Room goes up, this Amoonguss is a problem.
It is definitely.
The one weakness for a lot of Amoonguss sets, especially the ones without Protect, are that you can get away with just fake out cycling that Pokemon a lot. This Amoonguss, you can't do that. It is going to be on the field, you are going to have some of your Pokemon put to sleep, and you just have to have a game plan for it. And looking at Jay's side, there are a lot of Pokemon that Dakota can put to sleep. Once we pull up Jay's team, we'll see that he really has to divide a lot of resources on his side in order to get around this Amoonguss from just clicking Spore into so many things. Yes, he does have that Vital Spirit Electabuzz, but outside of that, he's going to have to commit Terastallization onto the Chandelure in order to stop that Spore.
Yeah, it's going to be very impressive. And one thing I really do love on that Amoonguss is that Clear Smog attack. It's something that, is on teams just to combat against Dondozo or any setup strategies in general, and I always love having something on the team like with Haze or with Clear Smog just to get rid of those stat-altering abilities. And looking at this team here, we don't see a whole lot of setup, so that's fine, but we can still do super effective damage to that Rillaboom or any Pokemon that dares to terrestrialize into a grass typing.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think we're going to be seeing really any setup in this game either, with the Haze on Chandelure on Jay's side too. That's a Pokemon that I had to face yesterday in the Cup, and that was terrifying to play against. This Chandelure, not only is it a scary defensive piece, the Fire and Ghost typing is very, very strong defensively. You have Haze, you have Trick Room for a lot of board and speed control, but I think a lot of people forget, Chandelure, it's a base 145 special attack stat. It is massive. It does so much damage.
Like Vikavolt, too. Some people sleep on that. That's an impressive attack.
It's so strong.
You couldn't forego investing fully in your special attack, and you'll still have more special attack than most special attackers. It's insane. And
Yeah.
Chandelure is definitely one of those Pokemon you people often tend to sleep on. Heat Wave hitting both sides for that big, massive attack stat, of course. One Pokemon I do want to showcase real quick is this Electabuzz. Electabuzz has definitely put me in a surprise Pikachu's face all tournament. I did not expect people to pull out the Electabuzz, but hey, Electro Web for speed control, and of course those awesome, awesome attacks in Follow Me and Taunt, Protect, of course, and Vital Spirit, just so you don't go to sleep, might be the ace in the hole against this Amogus.
Yeah, some really cool techs as well. The Terra Grass Meadow Plate Rillaboom, another Meadow Plate believer here at Balance Patch. You'll love to see that. And the Sunny Day on the Salamence on Jay's side to make that Chandelure, which we see immediately on lead, even scarier.
Yeah, Sunny Day indeed. But now we're going to see what this Flamigo and Porygon choose to do here. This is an interesting setup. Wide Guard is kind of an interesting choice because we don't want to take Heat Waves right now or get any burns from them either. So that could be pretty nice. And now, of course, what is this Electabuzz really going to do here for Chandelure? It doesn't have anything like Helping Hand, for instance, to boost that attack power. So maybe it's going to try to go for speed control, but I think we're already faster. Maybe not faster than Flamigo. Close combat is, yeah, well, yeah. Okay, maybe we check that one. Yeah, that did a lot of damage.
Yeah, this Eviolite Electabuzz, very bulky, taking that close combat not terribly well. Important to note, these Porygon 2 on Dakota's side got the attack boost from download immediately as Heat Wave is going to miss into the Porygon 2. That's okay. It hits the Pokemon it needs to one-hit KO this Flamigo after the Life Orb chip. And with this Porygon 2, its Terra Blast, it will not be a special attack. And because Dakota doesn't get the special attack boost from download, not enough to KO the Electabuzz. And now Dakota, down a Pokemon, taunted on Porygon 2, has to bring out this Ursaluna.
I do like that Dakota recognized that Taunt was in play, didn't decide to go for Trick Room anyway, locked in an attack, did a little bit of damage on this Electabuzz, didn't get a knockout, but still provided some net positive worth out of this Porygon instead of not doing anything for a turn, so that's pretty convenient. But now we have a situation where this Ursaluna's out here, and it's not necessarily going to be doing a whole lot. I mean, it's not going to mind like a burn, obviously, because we're going to be able to get that Guts boost from the Flame Orb regardless. But maybe the damage might be doing something. I don't know. This is a little bit scary for Jay. Yeah, okay, there goes the Electabuzz. It will be coming out for later. And now incoming, we will be seeing this Ursaluna Blood Moon. Okay, so it looks like the Battle of the Bears.
Yeah, and we see the Heat Wave. That's very good damage, and the immediate burn from the Heat Wave. That's funny.
That's pretty bad, actually, because now this Ursaluna is going to get a bonus to that attack stat earlier than it was meant to. Headlong Rush with that Guts boosted immediately.
Yeah, it brings it down to Focus Sash. I think it would have probably brought it down to a Focus Sash anyway.
That's true. Yeah, but still.
But funnier to see it get the boost. The real tricky part, though, is that Dakota's side, because of the Focus Sash on Chandelure, it becomes so much more difficult to deal with the Chandelure. Because yes, you can get one Headlong Rush off into it, but now you're in a position where you've just lowered your special defense, having to click Headlong Rush.
Yep.
Your Ursaluna now is in range of another Heat Wave because of the drop special defense. Jay was able to get the Blood Moon Ursaluna. Yes, it took a little bit of damage on the switch in, but more than enough HP to sit on the field, and assuming it's faster than Porygon 2, it can just fire off a Hyper Voice or a Blood Moon into that slot too. There is just so much damage potential from Jay's side that Dakota is really going to have to try to find a way to mitigate, and without having access to Trick Room on your Porygon 2 because of the taunt turn 1,
Exactly. Yep.
there's not much you can do about this Terra Normal Blood Moon on the other side of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely see Heat Wave coming out from Chandelure, and of course, maybe another spread move from that Blood Moon Ursaluna as well. Might not be able to do enough if a dodge happens, but I think both of these attacks will be connecting here. Let's see how much Heat Wave does. Okay, that's pretty nice. But now, Blood Moon with this boosted Terra Normal. Oh, this is going to do a lot of damage to Porygon 2, and it's going to go down.
Yeah, Jay just putting his foot on the gas, knowing that as soon as Porygon 2 is taunted, he doesn't have to worry about Trick Room going up. He can just be faster, just hit harder with these very strong special attackers. And that is the one weakness for a lot of Dakota's Pokemon, is they don't take special attacks well. A Of course, the one Pokemon that does is that Assault Vest Incineroar, which would do very, very well into the Chandelure, which was left at home here in Game 1.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is really rough. 2 Pokemon on the side of the field with no speed advantage, period. It's going to be pretty tough for Dakota to get 4 knockouts. Holy. I mean, that Electabuzz in the back is on its last legs, to be fair, so it's not necessarily that big of a difference, but
yeah, I think it's going
tough.
to take...
It's going to take a miracle.
Double Protect from the Ursaluna this turn, man. Putting the opposing Blood Moon to sleep, and then you get a Heat Wave miss the next turn. There are just so many things that have to go Dakota's way.
This Hyper Voice.
Jay not even worrying about the Heat Wave miss, just clicking Hyper Voice.
Oh, man.
That's plenty to just pick up both Pokemon here. A clean victory for Jay Zhang, not even revealing his 4th final Pokemon.
Yeah, and didn't even have to reveal the goods, can keep that note in your pocket. But now Dakota gonna have to come up with a brand new game plan to circumvent this oppression from the Blood Moon and, of course, that Chandelure. This is kind of what happens when you lean too heavily into the Trick Room aspect of a team and you know your opponent has a taunt user. It's very scary because now you get your Pokemon shut down, you can't activate Trick Room, and we're in this position of, well, I'm slower. What do I do now?
Just get knocked out. Really, the only way for Dakota to stop that is to either lead your fake out Pokemon to try to flinch the Electabuzz before it can taunt you, or try to redirect the taunt with your Amoonguss's Rage Powder.
Yep. I like that. I like that idea.
The problem with redirecting that is that your redirector is very, very weak to the Heat Waves from the Chandelure on the other side, and that Pokemon is such a problem if you're not able to get speed control against it.
Yes, it's a very tricky situation for Dakota to be in. How do you manage that? In my opinion, honestly, maybe we just try to do something different. I like Incineroar with the fake out support. Yeah. Maybe go with Goldango. Try to do something a little different in that end or that angle. Amoonguss is still pretty good, I still feel like. But
Amoonguss is great into every Pokemon that is not the Chandelure. Yeah. The Amoonguss is so good on this team into every Pokemon, if you can get Trick Room up, into every mon that is not Chandelure. I think the real key for this game, too, is going to be right there on lead, is does Dakota have a way to counter Jay's counter to his Trick Room? And will we see Incineroar in this matchup? I think Incineroar, like we mentioned, is the most important Pokemon for Dakota, but will that be led? And will Jay call that lead with a King Gambit to get the Define boost on the other side, knowing that his King Gambit, the Assault Vest, able to use the low kick to do a ton of damage at +1 to
That's probably why we didn't even see the Incineroar in the first game. That's kind of scary to deal with. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a tough spot to be in. But it looks like we have Dakota locked in their team already. I don't imagine too much of a shakeup from Jay after that dominating performance. Electabuzz put in so much. That one taunt was all it needed to do, and then it dipped out. That was it. That was enough, and he won the game from it. So, pretty good strat.
Yeah, that's the strength of Electabuzz. Is not only, and I've talked about this with Jake off mic too, not only is it so good, it has such a great support kit with Taunt, it can get Helping Hand, Feint, Follow Me, all of these phenomenal moves, Electro Web, but it's so fast.
Yes, it's very fast.
It's so fast that really doesn't matter too much in this matchup, but the base 105 speed, as we are going to see that lead here.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Next to the King Gambit, in front of this Goldengo and this Porygon 2.
No Incineroar here, so we're very happy about that. It's almost like Jay was calling it out. Like, yeah, go Incin. That was your answer. That was your answer in the first game. Yeah, do it now.
Yeah, and that's the kind of adjustment you're going to see at this high level of play. Again, the tricky part here is there's not a way to stop the Electabuzz from taunting your Porygon 2 this turn. And your Goldengo does not like to be across the field from not just this Assault Vest King Gambit, which will completely shut it down, but from another Pokemon that also resists its Steel-type Make It Rain.
Yes, it's not a great situation again. And it's going to take that Make It Rain very well because it's a spread attack. It's going to be 75% of its original damage, so it's not going to be doing nearly enough to this Electabuzz in the slightest.
Yeah, so Dakota recognizes that, has to get the Goldengo off the field. And a taunt will come out into this Porygon 2. Thankfully, we did see the Porygon 2 get the special attack boost from download at the beginning of this game. The Kowtow Cleave into the Flamigo.
Not effective, okay.
Not very effective, but that's still good damage. As now a +1 Terra Blast. Still not doing the most damage in the world, but significantly more than last game.
I wouldn't even be surprised if this Electabuzz switched out again. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty funny. This is the same result as the first game, and now we're in a situation. Well, we have Flamigo and Goldango here, so it's not necessarily all too bad. They have some great attacks on those Pokemon, so we can put some pressure. Oh, Follow Me coming in. That's going to redirect any attention to itself, and that Brave Bird's going to be resisted. Just a little bit of a chunk here. Not too bad, but Electabuzz, again, still taking hits and maintaining that presence. Ironhead going to go ahead and finish off this Flamingo, too. Really quick work.
Yeah, for Dakota there, I would have loved to see a close combat. We saw in Game 1 that the close combat from Flamigo plus a neutral Terra Blast was plenty of damage. You know, what got the Electabuzz down to about 10% of its HP.
Yeah.
I think that critical hit might have even mattered there.
It did. That critical hit was actually very important because if Electabuzz survived this turn, this is why players tend not to focus on the support Pokemon because they're so bulky. They're geared to surviving hits just so they can maintain that support, and they target the other side. But it was just an interesting situation because the redirection was happening, and there was nothing you can really do about that in that situation.
Yeah, and well, I think that even at +1, that Terra Blast, I don't know if that is guaranteed to KO that Electabuzz without the critical hit.
No.
I think that should have been a close combat, would have picked up the Electabuzz from that range, and you're at least able to start getting a little bit of damage on this King Gambit, knowing that, yes, your Flamigo is likely going to feint that turn, but you just need to get damage onto the King Gambit eventually. With the Pokemon that you brought, your Porygon 2 doesn't hit the King Gambit well. It resists all of its moves. Your Goldengo, the King Gambit resists all of its moves. You need your Incineroar to actually be your main damage dealer to King Gambit, but you can't bring the Incineroar out safely until you do with this Ursaluna Blood Moon as well, which is going to Transplant to a normal type and end up taking these attacks. Maybe not as well as I expected. But
that's a lot of damage. That's
well
actually pretty good. All right, but this Blood Moon now attacking back with this Blood Moon attack. Oh, that's a lot of damage on Porygon.
Yeah, and the King Gambit will likely move first, follows right back up into the Porygon 2, and that will be enough for the knockout. That, again, is just the strength of the...
Don't be insane.
It is. Which, you do need the Incineroar here in this game. We do have a position now with seeing how much damage that first Make It Rain did to the Ursaluna Blood Moon. It is in range of another one.
Sure.
The tricky part here is...
Who do we fake out?
Do we fake out?
Do we just Flare Blitz?
Do we fake out? Do we Flare Blitz? Because you need the Flare Blitz to do the last damage to this King Gambit.
Yes.
Dakota locking in a play, really just trying to call out this Protect on the Ursaluna Blood Moon, and the King Gambit, which because of the Assault Vest cannot protect, calling that to attack into this Goldengo as well.
I do think Ursaluna is not going to be able to OHKO Incineroar, of course, right? It also has an Assault Vest, so it will be able to survive one of those attacks for sure. But now it just calls the question, what is this Goldango going to do? It's going to terrorize. Okay, cool. The terrorize. Wow, I was watching too many Transformers, I guess.
No, we know what you meant, though.
Yeah, we know what I meant. Okay, but the Terra into the Dragon typing here. Fake out into the Gambit. Interesting choice.
The Blood Moon does not go for Protect that turn. It had Goldengo just attacked, he would have been able to knock out the Blood Moon, do a little bit more damage to this King Gambit, but the Earth Power into the Incineroar, not enough for a one-hit KO. But now the Incineroar likely just well within range of a Sucker Punch from this King Gambit, which is at +1.
Goldango could go out there and go ahead and drop down this Make It Rain.
I do see Jake Major behind the table, staring down this play for Dakota, loving this one, and I love it too. The fake out will automatically fail, but it will let no Sucker Punches go into this Incineroar slot, but no Sucker Punch was clicked.
Whoa, wait, that means, was that a read from Jay? Like, okay, I'm just going to attack. I don't want you to fail and whiff an attack here, so I'm going to go ahead and KO this Goldango real quick. Let's see how much damage. A +1 low kick.
Oh, it's just a low kick into the Incineroar. And, on a team like this, Jay may be thinking that his King Gambit might just be faster than the Incineroar. You think the Incineroar with Assault Vest, likely going to be very slow on a team that's built around having Trick Room. This King Gambit, on a team that has both the Tailwind and the Trick Room, but especially leans into the Tailwind and the Electro Web for speed control, could just be faster.
Ooh, Shadow Ball, no defense drop, so that's actually pretty important. Shadow Ball going into... Oh.
Oh no, not like this.
No.
Not like this. No.
All right, scoop up your cards, kid. Can't win. Scoop them up. All right, GG's. Yeah, GG's. That was a tough call. You got the drop at that time?
Yeah, again, the special defense drop into the attack boost doesn't matter in that end game.
Right.
The King Gambit was going to pick up the knockout anyway. Just adding a little bit of insult to injury from that point. But that's where you see the strength of Jay's team is that, regardless of who has speed control in that game, he is just able to do so much damage. He just wins damage trades with this Ursulina Blood Moon, this Assault Vest King Gambit, and especially the Chandelier with Focus Sash.
Yeah, it was a tough game for sure, but hey, we got more of that coming along the way with Top 4 very shortly, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.